Pleasure to have Jamie here today. Jamie has been with us. He's been working since we were in the old ASCS days. That was back in the dark ages. And he is an accomplished medium, very well-known medium. He's been a medium since childhood, I believe, and I think his mother was the one who had ushered him into this capability that he has. But he's very well-known, very talented, and everybody speaks very highly of him. And so we're going to give it over to him. I'm very interested in the topic today, so we'll see what you have to say. Jamie, go ahead and take it away.
Craig, thank you so much. It's an honor and a pleasure, and I look forward to talking with you again, definitely. You know, for most of my life, I always thought that not every psychic is a medium, but every medium is definitely psychic, because I thought that they were two completely different dynamics. And Chi, my master guide, he asked me one day, he's like, okay, Jamie, well, what do you do when you're reading for somebody psychically? And my response was, well, I read their thoughts and their attention to those thoughts, which creates vibrations of information, and I read it. He's like, okay, so what do you do with mediumship? Connect to their thoughts, their attention to those thoughts, and it creates vibrations of information, and I read it. The only difference for my awareness that I found between psychic and mediumship is a psychic energy read is in the physical body. A mediumship energy read is out of the physical body. That's it. It's only the physical. Everything is pure consciousness. And in starting to understand and make those connections, and being able to start effectively understanding more of what I was doing. And exactly like you had said, Craig, is the ability to train. My mom was an amazing psychic medium and such a great opportunity that she used it her whole life. And spending, 20-something years of training and mental telepathy and many other things to practice this, she very quickly put me at ease because, on some of the perspectives of all these beautiful religions, everything is great. Any road to God's a good road, man. It's whatever works for you. But some of these beautiful religions tend to look differently upon this psychic mediumship. And I have so many more people from these religions that their pain is outweighing their fear of condemnation from the big guy. And they'll come to me and they'll be like, Jamie, I've never really done this before, and I've not heard positive things about this psychic medium stuff. I don't know, but my loss, I need to make my connection, not only to my loved ones, but to myself. It becomes sometimes a self-preservation. And, because I'm just me and I've just got a playful attitude, I'll always put people at ease very quickly going, man, this is so natural, it's supernatural. But not only that, let's just get a basic meaning of mediumship. To me, mediumship is to consciously connect with a being, a spirit, an entity outside of a physical body. And I'm like, okay, great. Like, okay, with that very definition, if you talk to God, Jesus, the angels, you're doing mediumship. And with that particular style, I'm willing to bet you're hoping and praying for life-changing miracles and instant communication. So it puts them at very ease because they instantly are able to connect with that, and in their own spiritual awareness, whatever it is, it allows them the comfort to start opening up again. And a dynamic that I learned very quickly, as I know all of you know, is to always keep yourself safe in connection with doing this work, because when you open up spiritually, if you don't have any parameters or safety mechanisms, you can become fair game, man. And, it only takes once to get clicked, and it can be a whole different ball game. So for myself, I just want to kind of give you a little bit of a visual aspect of Chi, my master guide, who's very insightful, again, and patient with me, that for most of my life, I was like a ninja, man. I had that sword of light. I'd go cut them cords of attention. And I'd still keep getting tinges of the stuff that I was cutting away from these connections. And I didn't understand. I was getting frustrated. I'm like, Chi, why is it that all of these cords of attachment that I'm connecting and disconnecting with, I'm still getting tinges of the same stuff I'm trying to cut away? I don't understand. I thought I had cut the cord. And Chi's response was, excuse me, Jamie, you have the right intent. Exactly. However, in cutting a cord, you might want to have a different aspect. And what he gave me was, as soon as I cut the cord, he was like, Jamie, the connection and disconnection Great. As soon as you cut that cord, you certainly have cut the attachment, the connection to the person, the experience, the circumstance in life. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, but why am I getting the same or similar things of those things that I'm cutting away? He said, well, because as soon as you cut the cord, you have certainly cut the connection to that. But you've cut half of that cord off and left the other half in your energy field. And I'm like, well, so what am I supposed to do if I'm not supposed to cut cords? I gotta cut cords. I can't keep the connection. He's like, Jamie, how about rather than cut the cords, you simply and completely release them? And I was like, dong. And I thought, man, that's like playing in, words. That's semantics. And his ability was, well, as soon as you do that, you have cut the connection, but you still have that energy frequency in your energy field that is still there. And so what I have people do is in your mind sight, your mind's eye, I want you to see this white light energy field around you, okay? But I just want to stop you there real quick because I like to push people's buttons. I did that for most of my life to go, and I'm surrounded in the white light, and here we go. And in the back of my mind, I was like, God, I hope I didn't trap something in here. I always had that encapsulated energy to go, no, I think I don't know. So it became a very interesting dynamic that as soon as I released those cords of attachment, I felt so much more lighter. And so what he said is, in your mind sight, picture your energy field, a pure white light orb around you, okay? Now, I want you to see all of the cords that you've cut as like ropes. And on the inside of your energy field is the part that's still attached to your energy field, like a knot, and the rest of it's hanging out of your energy field, like just a dangling rope. I'm like, okay. So I want you to see every single one of those knots on the inside of your energy field unravel and be completely pulled out. Now clean, cleared, and sealed within the white light unification of harmony, safety, love, compassion, anything that you want. Now, in addition, because he helps me tremendously. And so he also got me to start addressing the thing that, at least from my awareness, that I don't quite see a lot of people consciously say things about, which is the inner spiritual body. We always address it. I'm surrounded in the white light. So what he had me do was, in your mind sight, your mind's eye, I want you to see in your heart chakra a pure white light star. This white light star is God, love, unification, safety, harmony, anything that you want to put in as an intent within that light. And as soon as we have that energy ready, we're going to start with an implosion, an interdimensional, pushing that white light, expanding in through your inner spiritual light body, pushing out any lower negative energies out of your body like a dark mist. Now, the inner spiritual body is pure, clear, and sealed. Now, coming back to this third dimensional reality as we perceive it, of this physical body in your heart chakra, I want you to see that pure white light star begin to expand through this physical body, pushing out any lower negative energies, completely pushed out, now sealed, surrounded, and connected within the oneness, safe, harmonized, and realized. And for me, it literally felt different. I was like, because in the back of my mind, the less that I have to worry about, the better I become. I'm less distracted. And in being able to put those safety techniques for myself in that way, I need to be and know, not believe, not think and hope. I know that I'm safe. Because in doing this work, and this is all I do for the past 18 years professionally, and I don't feel like I've had to work a day. God, I love it. This is not only what I do, this is who I am, the essence of my being. And those, ladies and gentlemen, you know that this is so much us. And in the ability to relax and be able to interact with all of these different energy frequencies safely and harmonized and relaxed, I'm a lot more clear and focused, able to tap into the energy that's always within us and around us. Everything's energy. And so it's these little tools and techniques that for most of my life, I was like, God, that really, it helps me. And giving the ability to do this with confidence and comfort is a beautiful dynamic. And again, I always push it because it's what everyone can do. Truly, if you got a soul, you're a psychic medium. It's what level do you want to take it to? Now it's more fun. Now it's more empowering, and it relieves a lot of the stress, and it becomes a lot less. So in order for that, stress less is always good. And I've got complete knowingness, not belief, that I'm safe. I shifted that enough to where I shifted my belief system to a knowing system. It becomes a whole different energy. And then it's confidence, not cockiness. There's a difference. So in being able to have some of these tools and techniques in order for you to keep yourself safe if you choose in this way, so that you can relax into it. Because the more that you're relaxed, the more receptive you can become to any information. I've just gotten so used to me and my own awareness and what I think and how my mental thought pattern is. I might be, fairly mellow on the outside, a little hyper, but fairly mellow on the outside, but on the interior, I'm completely open and receptive. Anything, I've got a completely open slate. Anything touches my mind, I've got, because I know my vibrational pattern of information and when something's different. It's an instant shift of consciousness. And so I've just done it, 53 years, you get decent at something. But being able to do this and see that it's first nature, it is the essence of our being, not second nature. Too many second fast. It's the essence of who we are. And the more confident and the more ability that I was able to help myself, I'm now able to help more people, because I'm not going to be able to help others if I can't help myself. Otherwise, I'd be throwing my own crap on everyone else going, hey, bummer. Like, man, it's not that everything's perfect, but I nourish my soul. I give myself energy in every way that I choose to, because I know it's productive, not destructive. It's not an ego. It's an awareness to go, man, I'm going to always love and nourish and help others in every way I can. And I'm going to help myself too. I'm not stupid. I need the help and healing just like I give. It's all about the love. Doing this, I just want to kind of take you guys through just a real quick visual aspect to see what your natural clairs, your clairsentient, clairalience, clairambiance, clairvoyance, those types of things. We'll just touch them real quick, and it just takes a little bit of time. So with your eyes open so that you can see that we're multidimensional beings, you can function in multiple dimensions at once. For the clairvoyance, I want you to, in your mind sight, your mind's eye, I want you to take yourself to a favorite location, a favorite place, anywhere that you choose. Can you see that? Good. If you can, that's clairvoyance, the ability to see pictures, movies, things in your mind's eye. Now, can you hear the honk of a horn, a doorbell ring, a dog bark? If you can, the clairaudient, the ability to hear in your own thought voice, the way that you think to yourself in your mind, which is why most of us tend to think we're making things up or mentally wandering or wishful thinking if we don't have an awareness of when that energy shifts. Now, we also have what I call skin vision, and that is anything you ever touch in your life is registered in your cellular structure. Each cell holds that vibrational pattern of a tree or steel or wood or water or port. It doesn't matter. It's an energy vibration. So in doing this for my life, I'm able to literally have vibrational patterns connect in my hand. And I'll be like, nope, that's just steel, or nope, that's porcelain, nope, that's wood. It's not, there's nothing there, yet there's something there. That's the point. Everything is energy. And so being able to understand more effectively what senses I'm using. So, in addition, I also want you to picture yourself walking around a beautiful garden. I want you to feel the cool grass beneath your feet, the cool wind upon your skin, the warmth of the sun. And I see a tree in front. I want you to walk up to that tree. And I want you to put your hand on the bark and just lightly run your fingers along the bark and feel the crevices, the roughness, the crispness of the bark. Any of those qualities and characteristics that will give you more of a tangible energy feel within that. Now, being able to pick a flower. You see a white rose on a table before you. I want you to pick that white rose up, bring it to your nose, energy-wise, and breathe that scent in. If you can smell the fresh rose, or the cut grass, or the desert that has just rained, any of those aspects, all of these qualities and characteristics add to all of your senses, your psychic senses. And as we're having an evolution on these psychic senses and growing into more of who we truly always are, which is the oneness, we're able to help each other through different capacities, through different energy and modalities. And so on these, if you're able to smell or hear or see or feel or recall, those abilities are exactly how I see things in my own mind sight. Like that, I've just done it my whole life enough to clear it up more effectively because I'm able to work with this more consistently. This is all I do, so I need to have my own tools and techniques that are effective. And that's another thing, is finding your way, ladies and gentlemen. What tools and modalities works for you? I am always open. I'm always aware of other people. Never, ever in competition. There is no competition. You know how you stand out, right? Do you. That's the point. Because if you get into competition, you're always going to be peeved because there's always somebody worse, somebody better, all of that kind of stuff. But if I just stay consistent who I am, which is all I can do, I stay doing me. And there might be something to it if I'm sitting here talking to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, to go, well, we're doing this together. So it's not just me mumbling to myself, usually, but it is connecting and communicating. And kind of like our loved ones know us and how the universe knows us is like we're doing right now on this internet web. Like we have an IP address on the internet web. We have an SP address, a soul print address on the universal web. Never lost and always found. Have you ever wondered how our loved ones know us from the other side out of more than 7.5 billion people to come in with specifics? That either becomes really good guesswork or, something to it. And so the science and spirituality are now one. No longer the separation of spirituality and quantum physics, unification of spiritual physics. It is all one. Pick it apart enough to go, hey, vibrational pattern-wise, that nothingness is pure potential. Yep. That's the point. And you can have as much or as little in life as you're allowed to, and it'll give it to you. And there is no judgment. Because I used to think that there was karma. And just, because I know that the more I know, folks, the more I know. I don't know nothing for nobody, man. But I'll share my perspective and what I'm aware of. And just to kind of touch on the karma aspect, for me, if there's karma, because again, I just love to push people's buttons. But if there's karma, to me, a basic meaning of karma is an action creates a karmic debt that it needs to be repaid or balanced in some way. Is that a decent basic meaning? Mm-hmm. Cool. Okay. So if there's karma, what does that say then? If you are living your own beautiful life and doing you, and there's these other two people in their own life experiences, and one of those people hurts the other one. So of course, that person who just did the hurting has a karmic debt that it needs to be repaid or balanced in some way, right? So what does that say if you were cosmically and karmically chosen in your own life experience to come in and co-create, because we always co-create with others, a circumstance through karma to affect that person like they affected and hurt the first person, right? Because of the karma? What I didn't tell you is that original hurting of those two people was their completion of the karmic debt. How are you supposed to know when a debt is paid? Because if you can do that, that's impressive. That's ascended mastership. But what if it's a natural law? Any natural law is never selective of itself. It's like the soil in the ground. It doesn't question who plants a seed or what seed it is. It instantly goes to work and grows it. Unconditionally. Doesn't go, no, I'm not doing tomatoes today. Yeah, right, man. And you could be green, orange, purple. You could be a healer, a murderer, whatever. It doesn't matter. It will instantly react to your thoughts. excuse me. And every thought that you think, every thought that you have is like a seed that you're planting into this universal soil. So what happens is, and how we've come to see it as karma is, if you stay in that thought, that channel, the frequency of hurting the person, and you don't tune into something else, you will get something similar or identical. That's how we've come to see it as karma. Tell me there aren't people right now that live on this planet that have murdered and stolen, and they're never caught, and they live amazing lives. Well, where's the karma? But what did happen is they were on that channel, and as soon as they did whatever action it is, they tuned into love, health, and happiness and got that as easily as they would have been crucified. And I was like, wow, okay. So it's the same information, just a little bit more effective. And then getting back into the karma and the natural law, how we are able to create and co-create with others is this natural law that is open and available to everybody. You can have as much or as little in life, and you're loved just the same. Because that was a challenge for me for most of my life to go, well, you know, because when I grew up, I didn't have a lot of money. I grew up fairly challenged. And I used to think, God, if equating spirituality, that you've got to be broke, that you've got to have nothing to be spiritual, that doesn't make sense to me, universe. If I'm working with an unlimited, unconditional God, that we can have as much or as little, and we're loved just the same, then I'm done with a little. I want to have enough to help others and myself. And it became a win-win. Because to me, you know, from 5 years old is when I was activated. And I came into the kitchen one evening. My mom was a couple of feet behind me. And as soon as I crossed the threshold from the living room into the kitchen, I was just stopped in my tracks. And this vision off to the left, floating above the kitchen table, is Jesus, the Christ, floating like this with spaceships over his shoulders, and he's just smiling at me. And it lasted about 10 seconds. And during that 10 seconds, it was just like, I was washed over with this energy. I was just amplified big time. And my mom was freaking out because she wasn't seeing anything. She's like, what's going on? Are you okay? What's happening? And so I was like this for about 10 seconds. And then I came out of it, and we went to the typewriter because we didn't have computers back then. But she typed up the whole experience, and at the end, I took it out of that, and I wrote, P.S. I was not afraid. I have no idea why I did that. I just did it. It was just there. And so I've always had that connection and communication. And every time to pull from that, because I didn't at that time understand, what are these spaceships doing over JC's shoulders? What? What? And then it became apparent, oh, so this is not the only world. This is not the only planet that the Christ consciousness has connected with. Oh. So then we get into the quantum physics thing. And one of those little anecdotes is, what may be known in one place may be known in all places at the same time, and what's known in all places may be known in one place at the same time. And I thought, God, that sounds like Jesus, right? Because I'm willing to bet there's more than one person on the planet that calls on him at the same time. Do you really think he's doing this to I got a gunshot, gotta go. Yeah, right, man. He'll be here connected with us just like this, talking to each and every one of us, individualized, never individualized of the unified oneness. And so it was equated like this. I said, Chi, how does that work for Jesus? Because I don't think there's just one. Well, there's the Christ consciousness, but there are the multi facets of that Christ consciousness. And he said, it's kind of like this, Jamie, that quantum physics thing. It's just like when you're here, like as we are. I am the host at the moment of getting to share with you, ladies and gentlemen, in Phoenix, Arizona. Yet through the internet web, like the universal web, I am with each and every one of you listeners and viewers right here, right now, like each and every one of you are here with me. So now we see there is no distance. Now, there is no time as well, because whether it's East Coast or Australia, 17 hours ahead, or Hawaii a few hours behind, but when we're talking through the web, both webs, when is it? Now. There is only the eternal moment. And so every moment runs into the next. It's the eternal now, 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 now. There is no future, there is no past, and there is only the present of unification and oneness. And so being able to understand that more was huge, because she also pointed out the fact, if I can share about JC, Jesus, okay, because she's like, well, are you going to say it or not? Basically, we all have that direct connect. Everyone is able to tune in. Your job is to have the practicality of spirituality. I mean, you got to stay sane in this, man, or you become one of those crazies. Oh, you one of them. Okay. And so, you hear that stuff and as you grow up, but man, being able to be just a regular person, normal, that we can do this, I started realizing that we're all connected on this universal web. And that soul print became very, very clear to me as to the diamond clarity of how our loved ones can communicate. All of the frequencies, all of the channels of communication are all within. JC used to say that thousands of years ago. Hey, all that stuff's within. But if you need to go to a location, do prayers, light candles to tune in, do it. It's whatever works for you. But truly, no matter where you go, there you are. You're always the center of consciousness. And just something to think about, because for me, it's always been fascinating. And that is, do you see the power that whether Jesus is real or not holds? And if he's not real, which he is, but if he's not real, that it's even more powerful? And I'm like, how is that possible, Chi? I don't quite understand. He's like, well, it's kind of like this, Jenny. Hang on a second. If Jesus is not a real being, then what does that tell you about the mass consciousness of this planet? That if there is no such being, that as a planetary awareness, for the most part, we're going to basically create a similar being with basically similar teachings and basically similar healings and empowerment. And I was like, oh, that connection is self-realized. Everyone has the Christ consciousness. Do you want to tune into it? All of these channels are within. I need as many channels as I can to connect to and connect with to be more efficient. Nobody's the same physically. They're not going to be the same metaphysically. Some can show me pictures. Others can make me feel things. Others can tell me and talk. If they don't have the ability, I'm not going to have them try to keep talking on something that they don't talk on. So your ability is to start opening up what feels right for you in the way that you receive information. Do you hear things more? Do you see pictures in your mind? Do you feel the information? And as I got along with those, I started to realizing that feelings are what I communicate with. Feelings are the language of the soul. Words are the language of the mind. And what I mean by that is, words are nothing but mere vibrational patterns on our ear knobs that we train ourselves to hear the patterns and apply a meaning. That's why with any other language, we're like, well, what does that mean? Well, it's the same meaning, but different vibrational patterns of communication. So with that one feeling, that feeling is the language of the soul, and feelings are information, not emotions. Emotions are happy and sad. Feelings are, I feel like you're a good person, or it feels like the right thing to do. It's feeling your way through life with information and communication. And so being able to start feeling things more effectively will be a big key to success for you if you choose to go in that connection. And the great thing is always, always, ladies and gentlemen, please be skeptical. Question everything. Just be open, because you get enough solid, quantifiable data to go, right, this is either really good guesswork or, something to it. Because our job is to show people that this is possible so that they can do this for themselves. That is the biggest gift you can give yourself, ladies and gentlemen, is to connect with not only your loved ones on the other side, but you, your own life, your own higher soul, your oversoul. And in doing this work, I used to hear a lot about suicide. And if I could I'm just going to saunter over real quick because out of so many thousands of readings that I bring people through who have graduated themselves, taken their own lives. And to me, that's all I can speak for. But the act of taking your own life is not always a productive thing. However, the act or action of taking your own life is only the catalyst to get you to the other side. Because if taking your own life is always a bad thing, and that means you're a bad person and you need to go to a bad place, well, then I guess that person who graciously and powerfully jumps on that grenade to save that entire platoon is a bad person. Are you kidding me? I would have respect, appreciation, and gratitude if that person took their own life to bring my family home back to me. So now we start to see that things only hold the value that you place upon them. And that action is only the empowerment of disempowerment. Or something like that. I just got to saunter on around, but I just want to share a little bit of, some of the aspects and the different perspectives that I've dealt with for my whole life that some people may not even question, and they really may not be aware, which is great. But if I can maybe give you some food for thought, something to nourish and think about, maybe to open you up a little bit more and to refine your own ability, your own senses more productively, then we start to live life, not just survive. Because when we survive, it will wear you down and tire you out. Like, how's that doing? Yes, great. Jeez. So being able to start living and invigorating myself, being good to me was huge. Because now I realize it's no longer narcissism, but the more love, compassion, energy, and attention I give is self-realization. You cannot give what you do not have. And so all of these practicalities of spirituality is be able to use this in your day-to-day life. Not everyone has 80 hours a day to meditate. No, and it's all great and it's all beautiful and cool if you can do that, because it is in the scheme of things. But also with the love of the universe. And I can only speak for me, but I have not had to die to have these experiences. I've just done it my whole life. And when I've merged with the oneness, I've become everything. The unconditional love that is everywhere and around us and through us and is us. And there is no judgment in any way on the universe's part. Truly. It's always, I'm like one big eyeball, man. I never have a physical body. I'm just like pure consciousness when I have these experiences. But and the words that came to me were, who are you now? And I thought, wow. I don't even know when we were created. Whatever that is, forever, whenever we can comprehend, completely loved and accepted. And where do you want to go from here? Because this is just one little drop into the ocean of consciousness, man. And oh yeah, this one universe is just a droplet in the universal consciousness, because there are universes within universes. And so I always found it interesting when I do the mediumship work, I'm also able to bring through animals and little babies who may not have made it physically here that graduate. I call death graduation because there is no death. I never ever talk to the dead. It's only the living. Let's have some fun and maybe do some readings for people. Let's see if we can get some insight or information. Or if people have a question.
Do you feel bereaved parents should have medium readings?
If you feel that you would like a mediumship reading from somebody else, go to them when it feels right to you. Otherwise, if you can do that, and so that you know that it's real and it's solid and you're not just sauntering down memory lane and wishful thinking, go see a medium so that you know that there's solid validation that that person has no idea who you are or your loved ones or any of that, yet they'll get the characteristics and personalities and qualities and character, all of that. And so as you can do this, the biggest gift you can give your loved ones, ladies and gentlemen, is to connect with them directly. Them to you, you to them. And so here's the difference between mentally wandering and wishful thinking and when our loved ones are communicating on a day-to-day basis. When we mentally wander and wishful think about our own life, it tends to come from the inside out. Like, Okay, there you go. That's mentally wandering and wishful thinking. But when our loved ones are communicating with us, it's like this. Boom! They tuned you in. You didn't saunter back. They got your attention. I've just done this my whole life to know when I'm on my thought frequency and when something else is just tuned in. It's all feelings. It's all vibrations. It's all information. And it is all one.
Thank you. Kathleen. Yep.
Thank
Hey,
you, Jane.
Kathleen. How are
Hi.
you?
I wrote a kind of a long, convoluted question, but
Thanks.
I do spirit dictation in the early mornings around 4:35 when I get nudged by spirit. And it started out as writing down dream words for about 3 words. And then I decided to take some hints from Roberta Grimes and others to get up at 4:30 in the morning with the tablet and see what came. So I'm developing a clairaudient ability, which is really exciting. But I get everything from beautiful philosophies to just random conversations like, Wilbur, did you hear Laverne had died? Or, or I was 3 years old when I was taken away from motel room number 9, things like this. And I don't really know how to hone in on the certain frequencies, or if I should just take down everything I hear to develop my skills. Spirit has said, don't judge the content I get, but yet sometimes it's, scary content about evil and things like that. And I always ask for the higher powers. So I'm curious, how can one help better focus the clairaudient ability where you can get longer threads and kind of eliminate the chatter?
Perfect. Because everything is channels, lights, vibrations, and frequencies. You just learn to tune in and read it, and you tap into that. Now, the good thing is you know that you're receiving information. The great thing is you see how expanded your awareness is, because look at all this information coming to you. Challenge is you're still expecting to see and hear all this information that's coming to you when you're trying to open up. For me, that was too over energized to me. It was just too amplified. And so what I would love for you to think about doing is the information. Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
My energy was too over amplified?
No, mine was. Yeah,
Oh.
on regular people, they would be over amplified, and they're like, every time I open up, I hear all this stuff. Well, wait a minute. Now you're going psychic too, right? Because didn't you say it before it happened? Isn't that psychic? All right, now you're creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. Oh, now you expect it. So it's happening. You are psychic. You're good. Let's change it. I'm going to tune into WGOD, and here it is. There's my one channel. Start to train yourself before you tune in. This is the one channel. This is one, whatever label you want to put. Target. There we go. Now we got it.
They gave me a radio channel. It sounded like Tijuana or something, but it was T107. So I guess I should just say T107.
You got it.
Okay.
You got it. Exactly. Now, remember, as soon as you're saying that, that's beautiful. But look at how easy. This is so simplified. It's the complexity of simplicity. It's simple and just complex. It's so what? I'm lazy, man. I'm going to keep it simple. That way it's just who I am. This is not only what I do, but the essence of being. So I love to help people make those connections because you can do this. And as you see, you're making these connections. You're so connected. You're unified. Because now you keep expecting it. Now you're going to tune in to a certain channel and you'll get what plays on that. Classic is classic, jazz is jazz, rock and roll is rock and roll. Now, through the scientific studies that we did with Gary and Rhonda, I also, for my own awareness, realized the conference call aspect. And what I mean by that is angels are in one channel, ascended masters, extraterrestrials, interdimensionals, all different channels. But in some of the studies that we were doing in the testings, we as mediums were brought together on the exact same neural soul way. And I heard the exact voice, the exact inflection to everything, the exact words before the other psychic said it a few seconds later after I'd gotten them. I'm like, click, holy cow. And so it was fascinating to me because Those connections are always around. It's what do you want to target? JC, many other beings helped us do this work, and I'm sure many other scientists are aware of that they're doing their own studies as well. This is huge. And again, it's a natural ability. Your job is to put those parameters that feel good for you so that you know you're solid. When I'm tapping in, I just went psychic again, because when I tap into the one channel, I get the one channel, 107, that kind of connection. Now, I will also tell you, you're vibrating as a connection of extraterrestrials as well. Remember, life is relative, right? We're ETs to everyone else. We're living on the other side of where we come from before here. Woo! Man, it's all relative. Where you go, there you are. But it's that type of unified, because I can feel your energy that you are making those connections too. Good. Journal, 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 kiddo. You've got it. Nice work. Keep it up.
I really appreciate the information that that you were able to give about bereaved parents. I'm actually not a bereaved parent, but I work with bereaved parents, and I see them oftentimes feeling the need to go back to mediums and psychics over and over and over and over again. And I really appreciated what you said about the fact that you need to kind of figure out how you can make those connections yourself. I know Sherry Pearl's here, and she does a lot of EVP, and that's really helpful for those parents, who have the ability to do that too. Do you have any other thoughts that you might like to share with regard to bereaved parents and what's helpful and what can be helpful for them?
Excuse me. Great question. Because I don't want to know what that is like. I have two beautiful boys of my own. That's why I do this work. I want to help others to help themselves. Excuse me. But in this, that becomes the main catalyst. And a lot of times we'll start to set ourselves up for a challenge. And what I mean by that is we'll start to expect to go, and the good thing is you'll take the time. If I'll go sit down and I'll start taking time, and then we'll start to connect. But then sometimes you'll get so disciplined at having to sit down and do that and take the time that you don't keep that day-to-day, moment-to-moment connection with our loved ones. That just is a shift of consciousness. They are able to talk with us just like this, just now, off the cuff. Boom, hey, and then things will touch your mind, and it'll get your attention. So if you would like to do something, what I would love for you to do is, if you go see a medium, if you need to, and see any of those, I want you to take an item of your loved one that you're wanting to connect with to this reading. And if you're okay, you don't have to say anything. Don't say anything so that the psychic medium knows that it's there. This is for your own validation that now, when you're sitting there in whatever way during this session, you have your loved one's energy in your hand as the vibrational energy connection. I want you to be able to know that you can put that in your pocket, you can take it with you anywhere, and you can make your connections moment to moment, every time throughout the day, at any time. There is no sleep. They don't need to sleep, man. That bugged the crap out of me. I was like, wait a minute. I've been doing it my whole life, but man, when I started doing this professionally 18 years ago, they would bug me in my sleep state. I was like, I'm working 24/7. No, don't do this. Or I don't bug me in my sleep. That's my time. Or I don't do this work. They have not bugged me in 18 years. 18. They know if they want a connection, at least through me, honor my rules and regs, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm not going to be a puppet here. We're about teamwork. This is about love. And this is about the connection with each one of us. Because the more that, for me, I make my connection with my loved ones, because I do this for myself. I love doing it for others because I can do it for myself too. And I know the healing that it brings. I need the healing just like anyone. I had to watch my whole family die one by one every 2 years from cancer. That ripped my soul. That I felt like, L for love. What the flag knob, man. And so this is how I get my healing. I'm going to help others to help themselves, and I'm helping them. It's a win-win.
If somebody's sitting in their living room and they're watching this, what can they do sitting in their living room that will get them into having that communication with their loved one who's already trying to communicate with them and is sending the signals and giving them the words, but they're just not getting it? So what can they do if they're just sitting in their living room watching this right now that will get them into that zone?
And that's a very good question. I think the point is you're already in the zone. Your job is to keep tuning into that, because the more you do it, the better you get. And for those who are sitting here watching this, if you're playing this back as well, notice when you're playing it, it's real. It's live right here, right now. Oh yeah, that's our entire life is only but a memory. What will you choose to keep remembering? Because it will keep playing right here, right now. Everything is always playing. The more you tap into it, the more it taps into you. You turn away from it, it turns away from you. It's all one. It's unconditional, only love. And so your ability is, the more that you sit in these connections and get those vibrations of energy, because it's all vibes, the more you'll pick up on it. Because I'm willing to bet, as you're sitting here, you might in your own way, because I can feel a number of you without being general, I can feel your loved one sitting there next to you talking and going, listen, hey, and do this. Great, exactly. You only sound like a nut job till it's validated, man. It's only science fiction till it's science fact. And that's why I'm loving these scientific studies to do this, to quantifiably prove, right? It's all one, good. Let's keep moving along. It's more and more. The more we can do this for ourselves, the more we can help ourselves and other people. And if we even help just one person on this planet, you've done a great job. I'm so thankful. And hopefully I've helped more than even just one. Oh yeah, I needed to be that first one. I had to help myself. Because how am I going to help others if I can't?
Okay. I would just like to know, because today I hear so many people talking about ET, talking to people at ET, seeing all sort of things, but I have never, ever heard a medium from the past who I have been in contact with, both physically, mentally, physical circle, independent voice circles, never talked about it. It has never come forward in the 47 years that I have worked. I just want to know why.
Because nobody said it to you? I don't know. Jesus. I don't have a clue. I grew up with it. At 5 years old, I'm seeing JC floating over the tables with spaceships. I'm like, holy cow. And so for me, there are many different species. Remember, this is for, I can't even fathom that. It's forever. Even if we are the only ones in this galaxy, right? This one galaxy out of 100 trillion stars. Oh yeah, there's infinity other galaxies. Oh yeah, and infinity other universes. Oh yeah, so everything's dimensions, frequency, vibrations. You'll just learn to tap into it. And at the moment, they needed to stay more humanized, right? There's just this little pebble. We're good, right? Don't get too distracting, That'll get you crazy. Remember, some of these beautiful aspects kind of were put in place to kind of tone down the abilities. You know, if I can just lovingly, playfully push a button, you know, because like, sometimes they'll do things that in certain things to go, don't get too spiritual. Look at what'll happen to you if you get all up into that spirituality, like Jesus. Oh, shoot. Now, some of that was good and kept people in place. And that was good for the adults. So we created, you know, an old man, gray hair and a beard, long hair, sits on a throne and judges. And if you've been good, you go to a good place. And if you've been bad, you go to a bad place. And so that was good for adults, but we need to kind of get kids involved too. So we're going to create another old being with long hair and a beard that sits on a throne and he's going to judge. And if you've been good, you get a present. If not, you get lump coal. What? So sometimes those things are perpetuated in order to keep you focused in this area so that you don't wander too far. What if potentially, Marion, that is just a slight contributing factor is they didn't need to go universal so much. It's stay on this planet, don't rock the boat. But now it's a different time. There's more technology. There's more unification. We're all one. Man, remember back in my day, I was the remote control. We had 3 channels, man. Get up, change that channel, boy. Now we've got so many channels in one little click point. All of those are within that phone. Oh yeah, I guess kind of each one of us are like that whole phone, huh? Because no matter where you go, there you are, you're tapped in, you're tuned in, and it's not hooked to a wall anymore. So now you don't need to stay just to this planet. Now you can go out there without losing yourself. You're now finding yourself.
Oh, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Speak up a little bit.
Okay. The question I have is, when we tune in, do we do this with our feelings only? Because I'm thinking, at least from my mind, the mental aspect creates a lot of noise when focusing on my past wife, for example.
Right. Perfect. So then don't use all of them. Use what's not going to focus on your past wife, at least in this moment. You'll be able to take it a step at a time. If you don't want to go through the feelings, then, hey, show me pictures, or give me words, or give me feelings with more words to communicate so that I don't get distracted and wander down memory lane. So yeah, it's whatever works for you, whatever you would like to do. Tap in, keep it simple, keep it easy. Because that way you can go right in. Because for me, I could just be standing in a store and I do it all the time, grocery store line or wherever it is, and from the other side, I'm like, all right, you got my attention, I'm not working, but what do I need to say and who do I need to say it to? And so for me, it's just on and it's always there. But you need to trust to go, look, see, that way of going down that road doesn't work for you, so why are you going to do it? You're not. So go to a different road, a different avenue. You don't have to go through all the feelings. Let that go to the side. Doesn't mean forever. Just at this moment in this connection, I'm going to use this tool. Okay, and this one, I'm going to use that one. Because remember, the more tools you have, the more versatile you become. No one's the same physically. They're not going to be the same metaphysically. And finding your own unique way, John, of creating and making your connections. Because you're the only one who's going to experience it. You're the only one who's going to be able to connect with it. Nobody else, just you. Why would you not set your own rules and regulations? I'm always aware of other people, and give it a try as long as it feels good to you. But if it doesn't, try something else. Hey, that's too much feeling stuff. Maybe throw me some words over here. Throw me some words and a picture. There we go. Now it's speaking volumes to me. And I didn't go past the ex-wife. Oh, bada boom. And I'm in a good mood. Or the
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you got it. Sorry, folks. Now I amuse myself. One-man show. Oh, this is great, man. So, in being able to clean and clear your energy field and to release the cords of attachment and learning to work with those clairs, do you hear things? Do you feel them? Do you see them? All of those things, whatever works for you. And if you do choose to start working with these abilities, I would love you to please take some time, and I want you to sit down and physically write out your rules and regulations on a paper. For me, I do that. So when I'm doing the mediumship or psychic, it doesn't matter, because remember, they're both the same. The only difference is an energy read in the physical body, the other one's out of the physical body. But I don't have time to keep informing everyone who comes through to me. So I've got my rules and regs plastered on my stadium seating. Truly a stadium, man. So there's a lot of people. But within that, anyone who comes through instantly knows how to connect with me. And thankfully, I use all of the clairs because I need to be as versatile as I can. And so when they come, oh, good, he hears things too. Good, boink, I'll start telling him things too. And he's got a good, clear, okay, I'm going to tell him and I'm going to show him a picture, because those words are now going to equate that picture. And now every time he thinks of that picture, it's going to equate those words. Wow, it's kind of like symbiotic. Oh, yeah. So they train me. They'll train you. They'll help you to help yourself. They want you to be successful. They're not going to go, yeah, let's give him stuff that he doesn't work with to make him a failure. Not a chance. They are hungry, ladies and gentlemen. They want to make that connection with us like we want to with them. And truly, put a thought away. Just, boop, that's it. Instantaneous. Thought's a lot faster than light. Light's a little slow to 186,000 miles per second. And it's boom. Here to other sides of universes are you instantly through thought. Cut it back. So, we'll go a little bit more.
Kathleen Jenkins had a question.
Yes.
Kathleen Jenkins had a comment. Well, humans doing this or that, you humans, etc. I also get references to constellations. Is that what you mean, what you're referring to, Marion?
Perfect. Beautiful. Exactly. Now you're creating your own language of light, your own language of communication. Every time I hear those things, I know that's an ET. Really good. Now you know. There's their calling card. For me, it's the same thing. When I work with the angels, I've never in my life, to my awareness ever heard such a high pitch. I don't know why it's so high, man. It's like, to me, it's like a dentist drill, only 1,000 times higher. It was so high when it connected with me in the first time. It was like a rope of energy when, and it literally created a white energy vibration as an arc over my big head. I'm like, I don't know what the frig it is, but it's been there ever since. And then they connected with the rest of my energy field and stuff. But exactly what are your telltale things? Hey, if I start hearing planetary things, I know that's the ET channel. If I start seeing wings and the feathers, that's the angel channel. If I see the soccer ball, and that's the human channel. Good. Perfect. That's what I'm saying is what tools and techniques work for you. You are the only one who's going to do it. That's the point. If it's a word that gets it, cool. Is it a color that gets it? Great. Is it a feeling that gets it? Perfect. Is it a sound that gets it? Whatever you want, do it. That's what will make you successful. Remember, the best way to do it is what your talents are. And if you're not going to be able to work on something, don't try to use that when you're trying to assist others or make your own connection. Meaning, if you don't hear them, quit trying to hear them, because then you'll be, oh, am I making stuff up? I keep seeing them. So you know what? Every time they show me something, and there's that WGOD, oh, wow, and there's that ET channel, good. They'll make sure that you know who they are. For myself, I know who my team is, and whoever comes through knows to honor, because otherwise they will not come through. I don't play this guesswork and give me information that is accurate. I'm not here to go, oh, I think it's a cheesy, sauntering thing. Man, come on, anyone could start throwing generalities out there. Be specific, the best that you can, but use your own language of the soul. That neural soul way, like a neural pathway, is the integration and reception of information within your beingness. Like that neural soul way for the brain, for the soul. Same thing. All one, all information, all love. Only two consistencies in the universe. I used to think there was one. Oh yeah. First is love, the others change.
But they come through regularly, and we know that they are very prominent in working with our circle. So we know who they are. They are extraterrestrials. And Suzanne had said, oh, I don't know, at the last symposium, I think, that now we, our circle, are going to be working with more extraterrestrials than humans. So we know that we are working prominently with extraterrestrials now.
And Sonia Rinaldi is also working with
Extraterrestrials.
I just couldn't get my tongue around it. I'm sorry about that. Just to answer your question, Alan John, it will depend on Jamie as to whether the recording gets made available. Know that from the website. And Jamie is back. Sorry, Wendy.
Just one question. If anybody does not want their segment to go public, please tell me in the chat window. If you want it cut from the recording, I need to know that.
Yes.
And I'm great. Show it all you want. Let's help the people. That's beautiful.
Okay. Wonderful, Jamie. Beautiful attitude. Love it.
Yeah, you got it. I'm just real quick. I want to just talk about Archangel Michael, the Archangel guy, cool dude. Just as that, for most of my life, okay, I would hear Archangel Michael is the warrior of light. He's going to destroy the darkness and cut the cords and all that. And in the back of my soul, I was like, something's not making sense. How is that possible that on an angelic realm or the channel that of the unconditional light and love and compassion, we're going to have a destroyer and a murderer? And she was like, well, Jane, Archangel Michael's not a warrior of destruction. He's a warrior of love. And you will vibrate with that energy, vibration of love, or you're not there. That's how, for me, I don't know, I'm sure he chops everybody up. But within that, it made a little bit more sense in the back of my soul to go, that makes sense to me, because otherwise the potential is good and bad are right alongside each other, right? Then the darkness could overtake the light. No, not really, because the darkness of itself is a thing, but it is only a reaction. It is not a cause, meaning darkness is only the absence of light, because when you go into a dark room, all that stuff is very real. But as soon as you flip on that light, what happens to the darkness? It goes back to its original state of nothingness. So the angelic realm kind of thing is, you know, learning all these different dynamics of what I grew up with all these beautiful religions as well, because I had studied a few of those, and my own spiritual awareness and all that. It's like, God, that makes more sense, the practicality of spirituality. You've got to be able to do it in any way that feels right for you. And so seeing those and Archangel Michael and Metatron and many others is very humbling. I'm very honored to work with them in any way that I do. And they're consistent. They're helping me to help others. And myself, I'm not stupid. I'm open board just like that. Ability to be able to compartmentalize, that's a beautiful piece, and that religion is very valuable and very valid. But you'll also learn to start coming from what you don't understand so much and approach with the awareness of our own spirituality and making these connections. But in our own spiritual experiences, it's going to give you the unification of oneness, realizing that all of these things are allowed because they're all within the ocean of consciousness. There's no good or bad. It's all good to the universe. And so our own relativity, our own values that we place upon religion or ETs or angel or any of that stuff, it only holds the power that you place upon it. And so for myself, kind of like this, because we're each in our own individual house or on our computer and this, but through that internet web, we're all connected. Don't you find it interesting? Not everyone else from the ETs and the angels and the ascended masters is tuning in. Well, they actually are, but in a technical way, because otherwise we'd be getting people from everywhere else that would be just like ding, 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 ding. You set those parameters. Those who are going to work in this will be here in this one here. Great. And then you can sectionalize for me. Sexualize those capacities there so that it's ideal with these beautiful religions. They all have value. They're all very valid, whatever works for you. But sometimes a slightly different perspective, not better or worse, but different, will give you a better vantage point of information, a little bit more understanding and less fear and more empowerment. Because that's what we tend to fear, is what we can't understand. We tend to fear. What we tend to fear, we want to crucify. Stop fearing so much. I went out of the fear and into the empowerment to go, man, because I kept when I was young, I kept, being uncertain because I was still learning all that. And there was one time that I called on the darkness energy. And that stuff is real. Don't kid yourself. And I never did that again. Because I was into that, back then. I'm the warrior of light. I'm going to destroy the darkness. Break it on. And holy cow. The next day I was working, I was a bartender back then, and I was working at a restaurant, and we had just opened and nobody else was in there. I was behind organizing the bar and getting it ready. And this gentleman comes in, he was the only one, and he looked like a cross blending between Danny DeVito and Kramer on his look. It was freaking weird, man. And he comes in, he's a real nice guy. He just energy-wise, he put me on edge instantly because I didn't have a clue. And he sits down, I'm like, hi, how are you? Welcome. I'm like, hey. He said, how can I help you? I was like, how can I help you? You asked me to be here. I'm like, what? Huh? He's like, you asked me to be here. What? I was electrified. He sat there for an hour and talked about all these different things and gave me, and again, real nice, very pleasant. And just the gist was, I'm a nice guy. Don't ever turn your back on me because I'll cut your throat. I'm like, whoa, okay. And he was, again, very pleasant, but it was that spiritual alignment that I never asked to connect with that darkness again, because I saw how easily that stuff is listening. Everything's listening. What are you tuning into? It's all playing, and it's just as real as anyone else's. Who am I to say that my reality is better than another's? It's not. I'm aware of mine to the best that I can. That's it. I don't know any better, maybe a little differently, but not better.
Thank you, Jamie. That was wonderful, very interesting, very enlightening, and of course, very entertaining.
Thank you.
Looking forward to seeing you in about 2.5 months. And we're going to have a great time out there in Scottsdale, Arizona in September. So I'll see you then. Thanks a lot.
You got it. Let's do this.
Mm-hmm.